Hey guys, Caitlin here. Today we're going to organize our homeschool slash game slash puzzle closet. We recently kind of redid our homeschool area. In the last video that I did, I showed kind of setting up some of that. And when we did that, we shifted some things around. And so now we have a closet where we were storing some of our homeschool stuff that has a little more space in it. And so I'm gonna try to shift some more stuff around. I've got some like sensory bin materials that have been stashed in our office closet, which my husband works from home, and so typically he is in the office working, and so I'd like to get those out of there and somewhere that's more accessible during the day without having to go bother him. So I'm going to hopefully put those in the closet and do some organizing and decluttering and that kind of stuff. So I'll bring you guys along and we can get it done together, okay? All right, so here's what we're working with. This is like a short closet under the stairs, but we've got games and more games and puzzles. And then this unit has like little educational activities, kind of. Those stickers, the labels are not right. And then our vacuum, and this shelf has like homeschool stuff. So what I'm hoping to do is kind of clean this out, move some of our educational activities over to our school area, and then move the puzzles down. I'm going to condense those into some bags and move those down, and then hopefully move the games down here so that the kids can more easily reach them, because they play games a lot and it's kind of hard for them to get those up there. So I'm hoping to move all those down and then have this shelf open to hopefully put all the sensory bin stuff. So okay, I'm just shifting everything down, and hopefully like the sensory bin stuff will go right there. And then this just needs to be kind of cleaned up a little bit. And this is kind of like the homeschool stuff that we're not using currently. And this is just like storage. So there's that. And so let's get started. All right, so we're gonna start by emptying out the closet, just taking out the majority of the stuff. Because if I'm going to move everything down, I kind of need some space to move some stuff around. So I just started by grabbing everything, pulling it out so I could kind of see what I had, and moved the puzzles from the top shelf and stuck them down where I'm thinking I'll end up with them. I just kind of shoved them down there, not in any specific order, but just to get them going. I also grabbed all the sensory bin stuff and kind of sorted through that, try to condense a couple of containers so that when I put it on the top of the shelf, it would fit. Again, this is kind of a work in progress and needs some fine tuning later, but just wanted to get it up there and see how much stuff I had and did I have room to store it and all that kind of stuff. So that's where we went with that. Next, I'm going to grab these bags. I don't know what the material is, but you've probably seen them before. They're kind of popular right now. People use them to store games and puzzles and activities and that kind of stuff. I bought them from Amazon. Everything will be linked in the description, but I grabbed those and began offloading the puzzles. And so I just poured the puzzle pieces in a bag and then cut out the picture so that the kids would know what the final picture is supposed to look like. This was actually harder than I expected. I don't know. I guess cutting through cardboard was a little harder. And in fact, one of the boxes was so hard, I could not cut it with my scissors. I tried 2 different pairs of scissors, ended up having to get my husband to go out in the garage and use some kind of tool to cut it. But anyway, so I'm just kind of moving all the puzzles over, playing around with which sizes of bags. That was one thing when I bought the bags. I didn't really know what sizes I need. I'm actually really terrible at judging, like, what size container do my leftovers need to go in? What size container do I need to store things? So I bought a variety pack of bags so that I could kind of play around with them until I figure out what's the right size. And I found with some of the puzzles, they were too large for even the largest bags that I had gotten. So there's a couple of boxes of puzzles that I had to set aside and order some other bags, some larger ones that I will, you'll see later in the video. They come in a couple days and I continue this project. But I did what I could with the bags that I had. And then I moved to where I have like our wooden puzzles for my younger kids, and most of those fit in the bags. And so I put them in there. I don't know that we would keep them like that forever, but we're going to try it. So here is kind of my mid-project mess here. Once the puzzles were done, I moved back into the closet a different part of the day and started working on the games and some of the other activities that we have, the little like preschool activities that I'm moving out of the closet completely. So with the games, I really was not sure how I felt about putting them in bags. I just, something about having the boxes is kind of nostalgic, and I like seeing them. I also worry that if the games are in bags that my kids will not be able to see at a glance what we have. Like right now you could open the closet and you can see everything. However, I had quite a few bags, and so I thought we'll give it a try, especially for some of the things like the cards. Like my kids like to play some of these card games like Sleeping Queens and Rat-a-Tat-Cat, and they're stored in these big old bulky boxes, and the kids have to like stack them perfectly to get the boxes back, and I thought it would be easier for them to put those in bags. So I put a lot of our card games in bags, a couple of other games that I'm not like particularly attached to, and I thought we'll just see how this goes. And then you'll see later in the video, actually, when I get those bigger bags that I ordered later, I actually did end up moving some of the games into bags, so I'll show that in a bit. But anyway, right now I'm just kind of moving some of them, some of the smaller things, into some of the smaller bags that I had from that variety pack, and switching some stuff around, trying to tidy some things up and just find a flow that kind of works for us. For now, it's always a work in progress. Like right now I had the boxes kind of all on their ends like books, and I realized that's going to make the pieces fall out really easily if they're sideways, because if one lid kind of goes wonky, they're going to fall out. And with my kids, I knew that they would. So like this treble box, those pieces fall out all the time, those little bitty popper pieces. And so I put those pieces in a tiny bag inside the box, because at this point I was still not thinking I was going to offload all the games out of their boxes. So I was just trying to, mess around. And that's the thing with organizing projects. Sometimes I don't even want to video them, because I switch around so much. Like it's not just I go in and I know exactly what I'm going to do. So I don't know if you do that too, but anyway, so a lot of times it's like some back and forth and thinking and changing and stuff. So anyway, back down on the floor to work on some of my, they're mostly my daughter's, that's 3, mostly her little activities that she does, but they're for everybody. So working on those, trying to figure out what to do with some of our larger puzzles. Some of them don't fit in that cube unit, and so I was just kind of going back and forth and figuring that out, sorting through some stuff and trying to decide, which ones should we keep and which ones do we want to store away or get rid of, and that kind of stuff. And so then I worked a little bit on this homeschool shelf. There wasn't a whole lot to do with it anyway. I just tidied up some stuff. Currently, I have some homeschool curriculum that we're not using upstairs in our playroom area. Also has bookshelves, and so some of it's up there and some of it's down here, because last year we didn't have our homeschool room, so this closet was where we stored all of our homeschool stuff. So anyway, right now I'm not sure if I'm going to put everything on this shelf, bring stuff from upstairs down here, so I have all my out of season, I guess you could say, homeschool stuff on this shelf, or if I'm going to move this stuff upstairs and use this shelf for other stuff that we might access more often. I don't know. So for today, since I don't know what my final decision's going to be, I just tidied it up a bit and tried to get like things together and that kind of stuff. So here we are, a different day. I have ordered a bigger set of bags so that I can hopefully finish this project. So in the gap between when I filmed the first day and when I'm filming this day, the kids have really enjoyed having what was done, having that stuff done. Especially my 3-year-old, it was really easy for her to go in there and grab some puzzles and go play with them and then put them back. And so because I had these large bags to get the ones for the few puzzles I needed, I decided to go ahead and try to put some of our games in them. So I was bummed because Hungry Hungry Hippos, which is kind of a nightmare to put back if you own that game, that did not fit in the bags. So it has to stay in its box, at least for now. But I did decide to try put some of our smaller games like Trouble and Sorry into the bags. And I kept all the boxes, and I'm going to keep them for a few weeks and see, if we're like, I really wish they were back in the boxes. We'll put them back, but for now, we're going to try them in these bags. So even some of the larger things like Candyland, their board games were able to fit. It's kind of a tight squeeze, but they do fit in these bags. And so right now I'm just using up as many of the bags that I could and filling the games in that, and then starting to decide how I want to put them on the shelf. So I did keep some in boxes, either because I ran out of bags or because the game was too large to fit in one of these zipper bags anyway. A couple of the games are ones that they really don't play often, and I think we may end up selling in consignment, so I wanted to keep the boxes for those. So, you know, just kind of playing around with it and seeing what works for our family. And here we are, finally all done with this project. So I'll give you a quick tour here. Here's our sensory bin stuff. I just kind of stuck it up there, and that needs to be a little more organized later, but for right now, it's fine. It's up there, it's good. I can access it. It's no longer in our office closet, so I'm happy about that. Then next we have most of our games are here. My 6-year-old, as soon as he saw this, he was like, oh, I can reach everything now. So that was so exciting, because that was a big thing. When they were all up there, my younger ones could not reach all the games. So it makes it much more accessible for them. So I'm glad that we moved them. So we've got games that were too big to fit in bags and had to stay in their boxes, plus one large puzzle. Over here are all the games in the bags. I'll show you what they look like. So like I mentioned earlier, I'm keeping the boxes for now until we decide that this is like permanently we want to do. If and when we decide that, then I will cut the boxes and put the lid in here so that there's a label, or so you can easily see what each bag is. But for now, since I'm not certain, I just put the innards of the game in the bags, and the boxes are just piled up, and I'll hang on to them for a few weeks till I decide. Okay, and then I have some other games over here that again didn't fit on the boxes, fit in the bags, or didn't need a bag or whatever. So then on my cube shelf, these top two are more games. And this one we have like more like individual logic games, memory games, I don't know, just kind of individual things that aren't so much games you play with other people. So like Canoodle, this is a little logic puzzle type game. There's memory, brain builders, that kind of stuff. So that's in that little bin. And then in this one, these are all of our card games. So I put a lot of the card games in these small containers. And then kind of ran out, so I've got some other cards down in there. So I may offload those at some point, but for now, we don't use those very often, so just down there. Apples to apples, that kind of stuff. So those are in there. And then down here are all of our puzzles. So we've got like all of our wooden puzzles here. These are, these bags are pencil pouches. I've had them for several years. I use them for all kinds of stuff. But anyway, same principle as these bags, but a little bit smaller, and I already owned them, so might as well use them. But these either have pieces to puzzles or, you know, like some smaller jigsaw puzzles down in there. And then we've got our larger jigsaw puzzles in these bags down here on the bottom. So that's pretty much it. We do have our homeschool shelf over here. Like I said, not sure if I'm going to keep this, but that's down here. And I've got like extra bags right here. So as we do more organizing, they're right there. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with how all of this turned out. So thank you for hanging out with me and organizing with me and visiting my channel. So like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. All right, bye guys.